following drama is based on the known facts and new information behind a real criminal case.
Standard. Your unit standard.
She'll become part of the plan.
Graham, your soap. Your raincoat?
Yes.
Very smart.
This is a good one, this.
Don't they have a telly where you're staying?
No.
You better sit down and watch it then.
I'll make some tea first, if that's all right. That's what I came to tell you. I got a job.
Oh, Graham, well done. Where?
Hadlands. It's a photographic laboratory. They make all kinds of optical equipment there. You know, they make cameras with shutter speeds of 6 million frames per second.
Very fancy. How'd you get that then? Graham? How'd you get that?
I told them I was good with chemicals.
Speak to me! Speak!
They're working in the stores at first.
What else did you tell them?
The truth. That I'd had some problems on account of Mother dying.
Well, that really is good news, Graham. Well done.
No brain.
You should tell Father next time you write.
Dad? Yes, I will.
I am ready. You spoke to Dr. Odwin. When you're drinking your tea.
Yes. I was just letting it cool.
Well, the eagle has landed.
What did I tell you? 7 days of sea air, and I'm back in bloom.
How is the old Dunkirk spirit, eh, Bob? Can't be beaten.
Not by the Bovington bug, Fred. No chance.
I told you all that pot smoking be bad for you, Bob.
Get away.
Good to have you back, Bob. And just in time for tea.
I thought I'd ease myself back.
I'm glad you feel better, Bob.
You'll have had no one to catch fags off, eh?
I wouldn't bet on it. I dread doing overtime here, you know. Cost me more in fags than I make.
Have a couple with us, Jeffrey.
Just passing through, Bob. Good to have you back.
So, tell us all about it.
Well, it's nothing to tell, Di. That's the beauty of it. I still felt a bit wobbly at first, a bit nauseous, but after a couple of days I was solid as an oak.
Well, you had the weather for it anyway.
Didn't I just?
I've been feeling a bit poorly myself.
The roses have come up a treat since I went away.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. They were as weedy as young Graham here before I left. No, seriously, I had a neighbour spray them with some of that aphid spray you made up for me, and it's done them the power. Don't expect any favours, though. I know Fred here's a soft touch, but it's nose to the grindstone. Now Bobby goes back. Come on now, Graham, get that fag out of your mouth. Now, one of the engineers is asking me if we got any distilled water for the Imicon batteries.
There's that water by the fridge that we drained from the cooling pool.
That's not distilled.
Doesn't matter.
It's covered in algae.
Doesn't matter. The sulfuric acid in the batteries will digest anything in the water, provided there's no minerals in it.
You think? You know, to tell you the truth, I had half a mind not to come back at all. We decided, my wife and I, that when I retire, we'll move to Norfolk. That's where my daughter's moving to, with her fiancé, once they're married. Nice house in the country, bit of gardening, looking after the horses. A man has to know when to stop, you see. I was thinking about that airfield next door. Just when it was an airfield, that was, during the war. It was a bomber base then. Oh, the noise of it. Watching the Lancasters roaring down the runway. It shook me up a bit, you know, getting ill like that. Not bouncing back like I used to. We've been through a lot together, Dot and me. You know, it wouldn't be fair on her if I was to drop down dead from overwork at the turn of autumn.
Are you all right, Bob?
That's a funny thing. It's a bit stuffy in here.
Why don't you loosen your collar?
Yes, that's what I'll do. Can't feel anything in my fingers. In the tips of my fingers.
Maybe you should get some fresh air, Bob.
Yes, maybe some air.
Feel something in that leg, Bob?
I think so. Pins and needles.
Like before? Any dizziness?
A bit. It can't be starting again. Not so soon, anyway. Maybe it's this place. Maybe the bug just hangs about in the air here.
Could do, Bob. You never know.
I'm going to be sick.
You always hurt the one you love, the one you shouldn't hurt at all. You always take the sweetest rose and crush it till the petals fall. You the kindest heart with an hasty word you can recall. So if I broke your heart last night,
Graham,
it's because
come back from the edge now. It won't touch me, Mum. sleep?
I did, yes, I did. You all walked between the raindrops one day, my boy.
It didn't touch me.
Well, he didn't touch you.
But the day he comes back...
It's unlucky, all right.
Well, it's not just unlucky, it's downright bloody odd. I don't know, maybe it's not the Bovington bug at all. Maybe it's something at Hadland, some chemical we're using or something.
What is this Bovington bug, then?
There's always been a lot of stomach trouble around these parts. It's to do with surface water and drainage collecting on the hills and then raining back down on us.
Right enough. I've had a few bad days lately.
We all have.
I'll tell you what, though. All those drums full of luminous paint, in that underground storage depot, that's just at the back of the airfield. And that stuff could easily have leaked through into the water supply. I'm going to look into it.
There's no need. Well, those drums are at least 20 years old. They won't be toxic anymore.
Well, if the keeper says it's so.
It must be so.
If you ask me, his symptoms sound more like polyneuritis.
Yes, well, he's taken the morning off at least.
Di?
Mr. Foster.
Listen, Di, Bob was admitted to West Harts Hospital last night.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's just a precautionary measure, I'm sure. Sure it was. But he was in quite a bit of pain, so I suppose they just want to be safe.
Poor Bob.
Yes. So, we'll just have to go on as we did. Fred and Graham in the stores, but you'll have to lend a hand. Anyway, let's keep our chins up, shall we? It's not as if he's going to up and die on us, is it?
Good. I'm taking an exam soon. Entrance exam for the St. John Ambulance. I don't know how you can read in this gloom.
I've got good eyes.
We had a Christmas party last year. Everyone came in fancy dress. Bob came as one of the rose gardeners from Alice in Wonderland. You know, the ones that paint the red roses white. He was wearing these awful tights and a sandwich board made up to look like a playing card. Tin of paint the lot. Him and his bloody roses.
Do you have a party every year?
Uh-huh.
I could come as Hitler. Can you imagine me sitting on the bus dressed as Hitler?
He'd chuck you off for being so daft, you silly sod.
He was misunderstood.
Misunderstood?
Well, you may not like what he did, but you have to admire the purity of his intent. He saw what was wrong with his country and tried to sort it out.
By killing millions of people.
That's how empires are built, Diana. But in fact, many of the experiments the Nazis carried out in the camps were of great benefit to mankind. Experiments that could never have been done any other way. I know that's an unpopular view.
You know, you should get out of here for a while. Why don't you come outside for lunch? It's a lovely day.
No, thanks.
Look, I know the others take the mickey, but you do set yourself up for it with all this Hitler malarkey and skulking about in the dark.
No, really. I have some things to do in town.
dead. Bob can't be dead. You don't die of the Bovington bug.
Several massive heart attacks.
Oh,
It's Dorothy I feel sad for.
poor Dot. Oh, God. When's the funeral?
It'll be Monday, I should think.
Just heard. Can't believe it. Things won't be the same. Should we go to the funeral?
Well, we were just saying, Mr. Foster's going anyway, Hadlam's. I think they only want one other person.
You'd like to go? I suppose that's fair enough, Graham. You did work with him. Yes, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. It means a lot to me.
It's a terrible business, this. Just awful. Just awful.
It's sad that a man like Bob should live through the war, through Dunkirk, only to die like this at the turn of autumn, don't you think?
Awful.
Did you find out what the cause of death was in the end?
Pneumonia. Bronchopneumonia with polyneuritis.
But polyneuritis is just a general term. They weren't more specific.
Yes, well, a funny name, something French.
Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Yes. Yes. You know your stuff.
It's been a hobby of mine for a while now. I'm sure they exhausted all the relative treatments.
I'm sure they did.
It's only for 3 months probationary period at first.
You can move out of that bed-sitter. Get somewhere bigger.
I've grown to quite like it, actually. It's just a pity that I got the promotion in such tragic circumstances.
It was a virus, you say?
I heard that at one point he was in so much pain he actually wanted to kill himself. Think about it. A virus. These cells that only exist to destroy, tiny cells, and yet when they enter the body, the result is inevitably death. And all it is nature. Nature at work.
At least some good's come of all that sadness.
Yes. You sure and tell Father? Your friendly neighborhood Frankenstein's made good.
Graham? Graham?
Hello, Fred.
Graham, it's pitch bloody black in here. How can you expect to run this store? You can't see anything. I mean, look at it, Graham. God only knows what the place would be like if you were actually in charge here. I understand you're a bright lad.
Yes, I agree.
You feel wasted in the job. Well, maybe you are. But you see, I've got to make sure that...
I think I'm better off as I was.
You do?
I think so. Don't you?
Well, to be honest, Graham, I do. I mean, it's no good, all this darkness and mess, is it?
Bob would be turning in his grave.
Bob was quite fond of him.
Who? The keeper?
Why do you call him that?
That's what Jethro calls him.
As in the keeper of the Black Museum.
You see, I heard that he had mental problems.
Acid casualty.
David.
No. When his mother died.
Poor lad. Seems a nice enough soul to me.
For a nutter. Oh, come on, you've got to admit it.
See ya. October 8th. Tilson was suddenly taken ill this afternoon. The doctor diagnosed fibrositis. It should be quite amusing to see Tilson's reaction to this fibrositis, especially when it proves to be a most intractable ailment.
This burning in my throat. It was... Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Now you know what the Bovington bug is.
Well, if that's the Bovington bug, mate, I'm bloody moving. Anyway, the doctor, he says it's this fibro something or other.
Fibrositis. Have you always had that bald patch?
What bald patch? I haven't got a bald patch. I've never had a bald patch in my life.
What's
25 years, a full head of hair.
Nothing.
Nothing? I'm losing my bloody hair.
Wouldn't let it worry you, son. Old Fred's been going like that for years. It hasn't stopped him.
Not so much of the old, thank you.
October 13th. Tilson returned to work today. Within 3 weeks, a characteristic alopecia should occur, which to a man of Tilson's customary astuteness should prove a trifle embarrassing. My previous experience of the drug in both instances has been only of lethal doses. Tilson's case affords me the opportunity to observe the effects of a sublethal dosage.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers, Graham.
Something wrong?
There's sugar in this. I don't take sugar.
Here, have mine. I don't mind it with sugar.
No.
What?
Well, because...
Yes, don't be daft. David's just been off sick.
Yeah, all right. Might give me some energy.
Graham.
Did you find it helpful?
It's a bit too technical for me. I don't know much about medicines and chemicals.
Did you know, Diana, that women used to use belladonna as a beauty aid?
That's a poison.
Deadly nightshade. They use drops of it in their eyes to enlarge their pupils. And they use drops of white lead containing arsenic on their faces to whiten the skin. Cause and effect. The simplicity of it. Add A to B, it produces C. Always and only C. Without exception. Isn't that a marvelous thing?
Did you study chemistry at all?
Not at university, if that's what you mean.
Didn't you want to? Events
conspired to prevent me.
Events? Do you mean your mother? I'm sorry. Are you on overtime tonight? With Jethro? Some of us are going for a drink later. Why don't you pop in?
Jethro gives me a lift home.
You know, I think I might be going down with this thing. That would be all I need.
What makes you think that?
I've been feeling a little bit queasy all day. It's probably nothing.
Have you had any other symptoms?
Legs feel a bit wobbly.
Any stomach pain yet?
Yet?
I mean, if you...
That's you, Graham, the eternal optimist. Might have been something I ate. Or that coffee you made, that tasted a bit off.
Could you let me off here, please, by that pub?
It's your local.
I suppose so.
See you tomorrow morning, then.
Maybe you should take the day off.
I'll be fine. I've had worse.
Tilson was admitted to hospital this morning with paralysis of the legs. Lower peripheral neuritis is now complete, which gives credence to the picture of natural disease. He will recover, though I do not expect to see him back at work. A further development, and one which I now regret, is that Jethro has been afflicted. As only one part, approximately 1/3 of the dose was ingested, it is difficult to say how severe the illness will be. Jethro's symptoms have developed more slowly. Muscular ache, flatulence, and nausea. I'm rather ashamed of my action in harming him. He's a nice fellow. I hope, though I have no faith in it, that he too will soon recover.
What is it?
It's Jethro.
Oh, no.
He's been feeling terrible all weekend. I can hardly walk. Well, he's going to see a doctor and he's going straight home. There's no two ways about it.
They're going to have to get someone in. This could be anything. You know, it sounds like radiation sickness. I'm not saying it is, but you never know.
The state of this place! How are we supposed to sort anything out on a place that took like this?
We'll all have to pull together now.
That includes you, Graham.
Then get up off your ass!
There's no need to shout. Yes, I'm Graham Young. Diana irritated me intensely today, so I packed her off home with an attack of gastroenteritis. I trust she is now suitably chastened. Needless to say, the drug used was different from that used on Tilson and Bat, but I am still at risk of detection should one of Tilson's attendant physicians be familiar with the signs of my compound. This is only a remote possibility, but then I should have to follow the maxim. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Yes, I'm Graham Young.
Any news?
Good and bad. Tilson's been discharged, but he's still very sick. Jethro, not so good. Foster's talked to his wife, apparently.
Is he in hospital?
No. He can't walk and he's losing all his hair.
Oh, my God.
His wife says he looks about 60. You all right?
I'm all right. I'm just so tired.
Well, we've all got that little bit extra to do now. And Graham, You've got to pull your weight, son. Do you hear me?
All right, Fred.
We even missed our class last night. The ballroom dancing class. I haven't done that for years. We're going for our gold. You know, Annie and me, next December. Oh, she can dance, my Annie. You should see her dance.
Never been much of a one for dancing myself. I like to watch,
Oh, there's nothing like it when you're spinning round that floor, you know, with the lights and the music. There's nothing like dancing to raise your spirits. Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on, let's have a dance. We'll dance away the curse of Adlands.
There's no music.
Well, we'll make up the music. Are you ready now? You always hurt the one you love, the one you shouldn't hurt at all. You always take the sweetest rose and crush it till the petals fall.
You always break the kindest heart with a hasty word you can recall. So if I broke your heart last night, it's because I love you most.
I'm sorry I was knocking you, son. I'm not saying I was wrong, but I'm sorry for knocking. It's just that, you know...
You don't have to explain, Fred. Don't have a fag I could borrow, do you?
It's a bit bitter, that. It is bitter.
What do you think I'm trying to do, Fred? Poison you? Fred, whom I grew to like, has been the most recent subject of my attentions. I gave him 3 separate doses, each of about 5 to 6 grains. The total absorbed should be about 15 to 16 grains, which constitutes a lethal dose. He should die within the week. Hello? Is that Mrs. Biggs? I'm Graham Young. I work with your husband, Fred. I've heard a lot about you, too. About your dancing. Could I go and visit him tomorrow? Only family. I see. All right. Goodbye. November 19th. Fred's tolerance to the drug is phenomenal. He is still inconveniently alive. It is better that he should die. Even if the blindness were reversible, brain disease will render him a husk. And his dying will mean one less casualty on the already crowded field of battle. Jethro Batt is also now in hospital, and too many health authorities are becoming involved.
All right, Frank, we'll start in the back.
Okay.
They're from the County Health Board, Di. They've come to check the whole place over.
But I...
Listen to me, Di. At 7 o'clock this morning, Fred died.
Fumigate this bloody place, or close it down. This is a dying place.
this place. Dying place.
Fred shouldn't have died, should he, Diana? Poor old Fred. I liked Fred. I mean, it's terrible for Fred to go like that. After all that. For Fred to die. To die like that. It's not right.
Graham, will you just shut up and sit down?
Hi. Graham, this is Dr. Anderson.
Is someone going to tell us what's going on?
We're doing everything we can to try
Is it radiation poisoning?
Radiation has been ruled out. We still believe this is a viral problem, and we're making every effort to trace its origin. There's no need to worry.
There's 2 people dead.
I realize that, but
Have you established any similarity between the symptoms of the 2 men that died and those who only fell ill?
we've established a similarity between the men who died, and we've established a similarity between the men who fell ill. But we found little similarity between the 2 now. So if you'll excuse me.
What's the significance of the alopecia suffered by Tilson and Bat?
Well, in Bat's case, a nervous condition could have produced these symptoms.
Complete alopecia due to psychosomatic stimulus?
Yes.
Have you ruled out heavy metal poisoning?
Why?
Couldn't all these symptoms be found in thallium poisoning?
Graham fancies himself as something of an expert on these matters. I'm sure the doctor knows what he's doing.
Are you?
Hold on. Thallium is, I believe, sometimes used in making high refractive lenses, but not in Hadlands. Does that answer your question? I'll require samples of blood, urine, and feces from you both, I'm afraid. I may even have to take a lumbar puncture, which isn't pleasant, but it's worth doing. All right, Mr.
Young. Graham Young.
Graham Young. Sometime over the weekend, then. We'll be in touch.
What was all that about, Graham?
What went wrong, Diana?
I don't know. Fred's gone. That's all there is to it.
He's gone. Poor old Fred.
Would you get me a glass of water, Graham, please? My throat's as dry as sin. All we can do now is give them their specimens and hope they find a solution. Before we lose Jethro, too.
Yes, Jethro. Poor old Jethro. I have to go. To my sister's.
Graham.
I have to go.
I can't tell you, John. It's a bloody nightmare. We might know more if they'd all been treated at the same hospital. But no. Same symptoms, different doctors. No one took me seriously when I tried to sort them out.
Well, doctors never like being given advice by laymen. This Graham Young.
What about him?
Can you remember the circumstances of his employment here?
Yes, well, he was referred to us by the government training centre in Slough.
Government?
Yes. He'd had a nervous breakdown on account of his stepmother dying.
And Slough told you this?
No, he did. But anyway, he'd been in hospital for a while.
A psychiatric hospital?
Yes, and
Did they tell you which one?
he'd had a nervous breakdown. We checked with the consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Udwin, and he gave him a clean bill of health. That's the procedure. I interviewed him, and he seemed very keen, very intelligent.
I'm going to go for a stroll.
Fine. Di?
I'm finding this really difficult to say. I don't know, maybe I'm just... It's not that I think he's to blame. It's just I've got this feeling.
Graham.
Young? Mr. Young! Not a good advertisement for the profession. I was impressed by your knowledge back there. You've obviously studied at some time, no?
I've read a lot.
Of course, you had all that time in hospital. You were in hospital, weren't you?
Yes, I was, a long time ago.
And which hospital was that?
Must you know?
Yes, Mr. Young, I must.
Will the information be treated in strict confidence?
Naturally.
Broadmoor.
Yes, this is Jeff Foster here. I'm managing director of Hadland's photographic instrumentation.
Yes, sir.
I think we may have a problem here.
Graham, what's wrong?
I just came to tell you that I'm going away for a while.
What do you mean? Going where?
Where Mum used to take us.
You mean Molly?
She was the only mother I knew.
Graham, don't. You don't need to go dragging that up again. What's done is
done. Yes. Look, I have to go.
What's happened?
I can tell you what happens when you add potassium to water, if that's any use.
Come inside. Please.
You can't help me, Winifred. Nobody can. There's this terrible coldness inside me. It's terrible.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Yes. Well, we found out a bit more about your Graham Young. Makes for interesting reading. Graham Frederick Young, aged 24, convicted in 1962 at the age of 14 on 3 counts of administrating poison with intent to inflict grievous bodily harm.
Oh, my God.
The victims were his father, Frederick Young, sister, Winifred, and a school friend. He was made the subject of a hospital order and committed to Broadmoor Hospital. They didn't tell you any of this?
No.
It gets better. While he was in Broadmoor, he admitted to having fatally poisoned a Gwendolyn Molly Young.
Gwendolyn Molly Young.
His stepmother. This bloke murdered his stepmother.
Graham Young?
Yes, I'm Graham Young.
What's this then? I've seen cells bigger than this bloody room.
You're not going to believe this. The sick bastard kept a diary. Ether addict as well, by the looks of it.
Nutter.
He sniffed it.
Killed his own mother, so the DCI said.
Stepmother, wasn't it?
Even so. What's anyone want to do a sick thing like that for?
Who knows?
You realise, Mr. Young, you're facing one, possibly 2 charges of murder and several of attempted murder.
My mother used to bring me here.
But if you tell us what poison you used, we might be able to help your friend.
Like I told her. It didn't touch me.
Any help you give us now, Mr. Young, greatly help your case later.
They weren't my friends. They were guinea pigs. I only have one friend. Thallium acetate. Tasteless, colorless, odorless, and soluble in water. There are only a few doctors in this country who would recognize it, so they shouldn't feel bad. Have you read this? The Ballad of Reading Jail. And all men kill the thing they love, by all let this be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword. The coward with a kiss.
Yes, sir. Could we have you in the car, please?
Here on Carlton Next tonight, Julia Somerville presents the news at 10, while over on Channel 4, it's The Golden Girls.